Children growing up in a home with a constantly absent parent tend to exhibit these 8 behaviors in adulthood. The absence of a parent during childhood influences the development of a child's personality, relationships, and emotions in their adult lives. When one parent is constantly missing due to work, separation, or other circumstances, the child learns to manage their emotions independently. The impact of a parent's absence is not always obvious, but can be identified through certain behaviors. Children raised in a home with a constantly absent parent typically exhibit these 8 behaviors in adulthood. 1. Trust issues. 2. Fear of abandonment. 3. Low self-esteem. 4. Boundary problems. 5. Intense need for validation. 6. Difficulty expressing emotions. 7. Extreme independence. 8. Fear of repeating the past. Trust issues. Those who grew up without one of their parents often struggle to trust others. If a significant figure in their childhood was unreliable or inconsistent, they learned early on that they couldn't depend on them. As adults, they find it difficult to open up and trust people. They might keep others at a distance, avoid deep emotional connections, and always want alternatives. Their experiences have taught them to be cautious. Fear of abandonment. Subconsciously, individuals who grew up without one of their parents are terrified of abandonment. If your mother or father was frequently absent, came and went, or made unkept promises, the feelings you experienced then might shape your behavior in adult relationships. You might get anxious when someone doesn't reply to your messages, overanalyze situations, or push people away out of fear of abandonment. This fear isn't about the people in your adult life, but stems from the absence you experienced as a child. Recognizing this is a crucial first step in building trust. Low self-esteem. A child who constantly feels a parent's absence might wonder why. This absence creates a sense of worthlessness that persists into adulthood. People who experience this seek acceptance and approval from others, do everything to prove their worth, and try to mask feelings of inadequacy. Studies show that children who grow up without consistent parental support are more likely to have low self-esteem and feel inadequate. The absence of a parent causes them to doubt their own worth. Boundary problems. When a parent is absent, the child might take on the burden of overcompensation in adult relationships. As adults, those who experienced a parent's absence often struggle to set boundaries. They might agree to things they don't want to do, tolerate unacceptable behavior, and feel guilty when prioritizing themselves. Without a strong example of healthy boundaries, these individuals find it challenging to understand when to set limits, whether in personal or professional relationships, even at the expense of their own well-being. Intense need for validation. When a parent is absent, the child is left with unanswered questions. Where are they? Do they need me? Do they care about me? What did I do wrong? This insecurity doesn't fade with age, but turns into an urgent need for validation in adulthood. They need acceptance and recognition from partners, friends, and colleagues to feel secure. They don't do this intentionally. The need to feel wanted and appreciated by others is particularly intense. Difficulty expressing emotions. Growing up without a parent, a child might not have someone to help them process their emotions, leading them to repress these feelings to move forward. This pattern can continue into adulthood, resulting in unbearable stress, burnout, or even physical exhaustion. As they grow older, those who want to overcome the trauma of a parent's absence need to make a conscious effort. It requires patience and trust to face the possibility of rejection or disappointment. Those who lack the security to express their emotions as children need to put in extra effort. Extreme independence. Growing up without one parent, an individual might become overly independent, managing their emotions and life situations alone. This pattern continues into adulthood as excessive independence. They avoid asking for help and feel uncomfortable relying on others even when they need support. While independence signifies strength, it also leads to loneliness. They do not feel secure relying on others and do not assume that someone will always be there for them. Fear of repeating the past, regardless of how much time passes, a parent's absence leaves lasting marks. Many carry the unconscious fear of repeating the past and worry about creating the same trauma for someone else. Childhood experiences last a lifetime, shaping individuals and their relationships in adulthood. Psychologists who study the impact of parental absence highlight its connection to emotional regulation, attachment styles, and self-image. A parent's absence affects trust in relationships. Awareness is vital. Understanding these patterns shouldn't be about assigning blame, but about breaking free from dysfunctional patterns.